Hi, everybody. My name's Anthony Wood. My short film is called The Call. That's in this year's Milwaukee International Short Film Festival. It's a story about a man who has gone into retirement and living in the country, but is mysteriously called back to his job. It's a film I made this last January because I had COVID and I was left by myself to make a film, to shoot, to write, to act in by myself. It was a challenge I put forth and made this little film.
You had COVID in January.
Yeah, I was on a job in Washington D.C. and the symptoms hit me, and I
Oh,
had to jump on the airplane. And I called my wife and said, "Go to Milwaukee, stay with your mom," kind of thing. I need to, I don't want to give it to her, so I stayed out in my little office here, and I was getting so bored. It was like 2 weeks of feeling okay, then feeling weird, and all that kind of stuff. So I finally just thought, well, I might as well keep myself occupied. So I came up with an idea and started shooting stuff. And then after I got over it, there was like a week after where I was feeling better. I could actually do a little bit more of the physical stuff. But
okay.
yeah, I get bored easy. So,
I'm glad you're better now.
oh,
Give a little,
yeah. Yeah, much better.
give a little background on what you've done, who you are. I know
Okay.
that you're also a legacy filmmaker. You've had a couple films in our festival, and one with
Yes.
Bob and Crump.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so what do you do outside of being a filmmaker?
Well, I live out here in the middle of the country between Spring Green and Dodgeville on a 25-acre old farm property. I'm talking to you from a rehabbed Airstream trailer, so I'm using Francis Coppola as my inspiration here, our little office. But I went to film school when film school was film in 1981, and as the film world was transitioning to video, so I graduated and had the industry tell me, no, we need you to know video. So then I had to sort of self-train myself, and I ended up getting, through my wife, I ended up getting a freelance position as a producer for Milwaukee Public Television, doing short documentaries in an arts program, working for Outdoor Wisconsin, basically doing documentary style stuff, whatever they had me do. And I did that for about 7 or 8 years. And then in 2005, we found this property. So I ended up getting a job teaching film at the Madison Media Institute, which is no longer in existence,
Hmm.
teaching folks my filmmaking knowledge. So after I was done teaching, I put the shingle back out for Smoking Monkey. And since then, we've been doing documentary work with John Gerda, history pieces, corporate videos for law firms, medical related things for Alzheimer's care. Plus, I'm always doing some sort of writing and producing a short films just to keep my nose in it because I love every aspect of filmmaking: writing, directing, acting, shooting, audio, all of it. I love all of it. And I'm at the age where you should be retired, and I feel like I'm just starting. So
Oh, that's great. It's
yeah,
nice having that energy still and drive. Um,
yeah. I didn't
let's
say I
talk
had that.
let's talk about your film. So this was done in
Sure.
January, and
Yeah.
did you conceive it all in that 2 week period that you had COVID? Write it or get the idea and everything?
The idea was matriculating in my head, and then I went and did this job. And once I got the COVID, I thought, well, there's really nothing else for me to do. And as I thought about it, much of it was happening in an office or in a little warehouse area, which I have right around me. And I got the camera, I got the aerosol spray fog, I've got the lights, I've got everything that we have for our business. I really didn't need to rely on anybody else. And so I would take my time and set up the lighting and do all that kind of thing. I really didn't write it as much as I just conceived it because I knew what I was going to shoot. The only thing I wrote was the dialogue for the other actor, Mundy Carter, who's my good friend who lives in North Carolina. I wrote out his lines and said, Mundy, would you read these into the phone and then send them back to me, and I'll show you when you're done, when I'm done, what the film looks like. So I
And
didn't reveal to him what it was.
he's seen on camera too. So was that
Yeah.
shot via Zoom or
He just recorded it on his camera and then sent me the files. And
okay?
what was really great is I don't want to give the film away, but I needed him to have glasses and a mustache. And so I through Amazon, I sent him a mustache and glue. He didn't like the way that looked, and so I didn't hear from him for 3 or 4 weeks. He grew his own mustache,
Oh,
and I'm like, "There's a dedicated friend and actor. He wanted to get it right." So I appreciated him doing that. You know,
so have you sent this film to other festivals?
I have not. I was actually going to kind of look around and see, but I sort of like when you told me like, yeah, I'm going to put it in the festival because I sent it to you. I like kind of like to take that one at a time kind of thing. And as you know, you can spread a lot of seeds out there and try to get into festivals, but it's not always cheap. And
Yeah,
but I do like the littler, more obscure festivals too. You know, if it ended up playing in like, I don't know, Sheboygan or Little Creek, Arkansas or something, those are always kind of interesting that people take the effort in little towns to do film fest. There was one in the Waiawigga Film Festival in Wapaka,
yeah,
which I always think is like somebody living there thinks, you know, and there must be an interest of the townsfolk to see films. So
yeah.
cool, you know?
I think it's the same way with like Wildwood and Appleton. It's the Appleton area just feels like, oh, this is our film festival. We're going to go to every
Yeah.
show and support it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's ownership of it. That's what's really great. Like we
yeah,
have one out here in Mineral Point has the Driftless Film Festival, and they get films from all over the world, but they're very careful to also show local films. So every year we have some film in there, whether it's a doc or a short film that we do, and they really take ownership. They love it, and it's in this beautiful old opera house, and yeah, it's really fun.
So what's next for you?
I got a couple of more shorts in mind that I want to do. It'll require a few more actors, um, and at certain time frames to do. Right now, my wife and I are working on a documentary about the history of the chicken, which is
Okay.
weird. Yeah, Pam Percy, a Milwaukeean, wrote a book about the history of the chicken, and she's raised some money to do a documentary. So my wife is editing and doing like co-production, and I'm doing animation of chicken characters that are sort of like chickens dressed in people clothes. It's sort of like Terry Gilliam animation of these characters hosting the film. So that's kind of what we're doing right now until about the fall.
That's
Yeah.
great. Do you have any
Yeah.
final thoughts about your film that might bring people to see your film at the festival? Anything to entice them?
I would say there is a surprise in it. So I would invite you to try to look for that and try to figure it out before the final reveal. And it's not a very long short film because there can be 20-minute, 15-minute short films. And I would encourage anyone who likes to do filmmaking, take the little idea and just do it. Everybody's got a phone, everybody's got some kind of camera. Um, and it's really great to see people try to get creative and do their own little project and try to find their own voice with it. So this is just my little way of like trying to. I hate winter. I hate it. And this is the only way I could do it to break those late January, early February doldrums is just make something or I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, I was when I was watching your film, I didn't know where it was going. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then the reveal is like, oh, okay, why didn't I catch that earlier?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's almost too obvious.
yeah,
Of course it is. Of course.
yeah,
But yeah, I kind of just there's enough little silent bits in it. You're just kind of watching this character wander around and do stuff, and like, why? What is his deal? I had
yeah,
somebody say, "Is he in the CIA?" There's something
yeah,
covert about this guy. So
yeah.
that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad people kind of are a little surprised.
Well, thank you so much, Tony. Thank you for
Oh, my
joining me
pleasure,
today.
Russ. Yeah,
Okay.
and I look forward to seeing you this fall in September.